Welcome everybody to my class. Today we are going to be learning about geometry. And today will be a review. So last time we did a review which was on algebra. This time we're doing a review on geometry. Okay? So some of this might be new to some of you, but mostly this will be a review for those who have been to my class already. So let's start off. Today I'm going to be focusing on volume and area. And first I'm going to review the definition of volume and area, and then I'm going to go over some formulas, and I'm going to explain a technique that you use to find the area of irregular shapes. And then we're going to do some practice. Okay? So first, the definition of volume. Volume is the quantity of a three-dimensional space enclosed by a closed surface. For example, the space that a substance or shape occupies or contains. Let's say a cube, right? We all know a cube is a three-dimensional space, and the volume is the area inside this cube. Okay? So the area inside this cube. That's an example of what volume is. And later I'll go over formulas on how to find different kinds of volumes. For example, the volume of a triangular prism, like that. And also I'm going to review how to find the volume of a cylinder. And we're going to do that later. Now, let me go over the definition of the area, okay? So, area is the extent of a two-dimensional space or shape on a flat plane, and it is the space the shape takes up. Okay, so let's see, a parallelogram or a triangle or whatever example that we can come up with. A two-dimensional space, okay? It is the area. The area is what the space that this two-dimensional shape takes up on a flat plane, okay? So the volume is the space inside, all the space inside a three-dimensional shape. But the area is how much space a two-dimensional shape takes up on a flat plane, okay? So does everybody understand? Okay, Gemini, how should we take notes? Does anybody want to take notes on those slides? Last class, a lot of people wanted to take notes. Does anybody want to take notes on those slides? Okay, so I'll leave these slides for you. The first one is the definition of volume. Okay, so you can take notes on this. And okay, so the space inside of that three-dimensional shape would be the volume, okay? So might want to write this down so you remember what volume is. Okay. Is everybody done taking notes? Is everybody done taking notes? Yes or no? Okay. So I'll move on to the next slide. This one is the area slide. Okay? So you can take notes on this. And this is the key point of area. So write down this. Okay? Is everybody done taking notes? Okay. So now we are going to review some important formulas. So the first ones are pretty easy, rectangles and squares. Probably know them already, but we're reviewing them. So the rectangle is the length times the width. So this would be the width, this would be the length. Just multiply them together. The square is very similar. It's also length times width, but the length and the width of a square are the same. They are the same, so we just multiply them together, and this equals a squared. Okay, they're the same. So does anybody want to take notes on this slide? I don't think you need to, since you already probably know this, but so let us move on to the next slide. Okay, so the next one is triangle. So the triangle formula is half of a square. It is base times height divided by 2. Okay, so this would be the base, and this would be the height. And you multiply these together, the base and the height, divide by 2. Okay. And how do we get this formula? We get this formula because the base and height, this is a square, this can be the base and this can be the height, right? And you notice that, let's say this triangle, for example, you fit it inside here, right? This triangle is actually 1/2 of the square, right? So that is where we get our triangle formula. And the trapezoid formula is a bit different from the other triangles and the rectangles, okay? So let us look at the trapezoid formula. Trapezoid formula is a bit more complicated. So here we have base 1 plus base 2 multiplied by the height, and then all divided by 2. So let me explain how this formula works. base 1 can be the bottom base. The trapezoid has two bases, 1 and 2. And base 2 can be at the top. And the height of it will be right here, okay? That's the height. But we're not done yet. We have to add both bases up. Base 1 plus base 2, that's where we get that. And then we multiply by height, and then divide by 2. But why do we get this formula? Well, we get this formula because we have to split this trapezoid in half, right? And the trapezoid is very hard to find the area of, right? So you have to split it. You have to form it into a very familiar shape. A familiar shape. How do we form it into that? Well, you see, if you take this top half right here of the trapezoid and you flip it, what do you get? Get this long parallelogram, right? Get this very long parallelogram. And you know how to solve a parallelogram, right? Exactly the same as a rectangle, because it's base times height. That is the area of a parallelogram. You see these triangles, you can put this triangle over here and that forms a rectangle, okay? So that is how we get the formula of a parallelogram. So once you form the trapezoid into the parallelogram, these bases, these so-called bases, actually become one base. You see, the top half, you see, so this is our original bottom, right? This is our original bottom of the trapezoid. And the bottom of the trapezoid is base 1, right? But we flip the top side of the trapezoid over, in the top of the trapezoid, right here, is base 2. So that's why we have to add base 1 and base 2. And we have to multiply that by the height to get the area of the parallelogram. But make sure you don't make this mistake, right? Some people forget to divide by 2. But why do you have to divide by 2? Because the height, when you have this whole parallelogram, the height is divided by 2, right? So that's why you have to divide by 2. So it's basically base 1 plus base 2 times the height divided by 2. And it can be combined into this. Okay? So that is where we get the trapezoid formula. Does everybody understand how we get this trapezoid formula? Yes? Okay, that's good. And now, the last area formula. Yes, the last area formula we are working with is the circle. And it isn't just the area that I want to find here. I also want to find the circumference, and I'll explain what the circumference is later. Okay, so what is the area formula for a circle? Okay, first we need to get familiar with the parts of a circle. So let me draw a circle here. So this is a regular circle, and we need to recognize the parts of it. So at the center of the circle, that is called the point. It's called the origin of the circle. And one of these edges, right? The edges of the circle. go from the origin to one of the edges. That is called the radius. And it can be abbreviated as r. And double the radius equals the diameter. And that can abbreviate it as d. And the radius can be any line. Could be here, could be there. But 2 requirements. It has to be a straight line. And it has to go directly from the origin to one edge of the circle, okay? And the diameter is the same, okay? Diameter is going from one edge of the circle to another edge. But doing so, it has to cross through the origin and has to be a straight line, okay? And always the diameter is 2 times the radius. And now that we're familiar with the parts of the circle, we can find the area. Okay, so when finding the area of a circle, we come across this number, pi. And I'm guessing most of you know what pi is. Pi is equal to 3.14159 and goes on forever, right? Pi is an infinite number, okay? But usually we abbreviate as 3.14, okay? We abbreviate as 3.14. Pi is a very special number. It is used to find the area of a circle and the circumference. So the area of a circle is pi times r squared, or just the radius squared. So pi times r. That is the area formula for the circle. And now let's look at the circumference. As seen in this picture, the circumference is something that surrounds the whole circle. And what we call it is a perimeter for squares and rectangles. So the circumference is basically a perimeter. But for circles, we call it a circumference. So you have to find the circumference. It's on the edge of the entire circle, okay? It goes around. And how do we find the circumference? Well, when we use the radius and pi, okay? So the circumference formula is 2 pi r. But basically what it is pi times the diameter. So pi is basically 3.14, right? 3.14 multiplied by the diameter should always be the circumference. And diameter is 2 times of the radius. Okay, so that's how we get 2 pi r. So 2 of the radiuses times pi. That's how we get circumference. Now let's try practicing the area of a circle. Okay, let's try practicing. So use these 2 formulas that I've given you. Let me give an example. So in these questions, please please simplify pi as 3.14, okay? Please round it to 3.14 because if you use the whole thing, then you'll never get it done. It's an infinite number. So round it to 3.14 when you're solving this problem. So please find the area of this circle. And also find the circumference. Okay, please find both the area and the circumference of this circle. So the radius is 2, I've given you. And please find the circumference and the area. And please put in the chat the answer. Okay, so any answers yet? So please put in the chat the answer. Okay. So the area Kiki said is 12.56 and the perimeter or the circumference is also 12.56. Okay, so nicely done. Any more answers? After a few more answers, I'll reveal the answer and walk you through it. Okay, so please put your answers in the chat. Any more answers? Okay. I'll give you some time to think, okay? Okay. What was the radius again? The radius was 2. Okay, so that was the example I gave you. 2. Right here. So I'll leave this slide open. Okay. So this is the example we are doing right now. Okay. So 12.56, and I've had a lot of answers with 12.56. So does anybody disagree? Does anybody have a different answer? Okay. So no disagreements. Okay. No disagreements. Okay, then let me solve this problem and reveal the answer. Okay. So 2 is the radius, right? And let's put 2 into our formula. We can substitute r, the radius, for 2, because we already know what the radius is. And remember, in the order of operations, we do exponents first. So what is 2 squared? It is 4. So there we have it. Pi times 4, right? But in this case, we're using 3.14 as pi because I told you guys to round it. Round pi to 3.14, right? And we get 12.56 as the area. So a lot of people got 12.56 as the area, so congratulations, you got it correct. Now, let's find the circumference. Okay, so we know the radius already, so let's put that in. Substitute that. So 2 times pi times 2. So let's do 2 times 2 first. You get 4 from that, and 4 pi. And this is looking very familiar because it is the exact same situation as over here when we're solving the area. So, without even multiplying it out, we already know that answer for the circumference is the exact same as the area. So, a lot of people got 12.56. So, very good, very good. And let's move on to the volume, okay? The volume. As with the area, we're starting off with some easy formulas, like the rectangular prism, okay? Or the cube. So let's review these. The rectangular prism, let's say, is length times width times height. Let's say the length is right here, and the width is right there. This is the height, and we just multiply it out. Okay, so very straightforward, very easy, okay? And the cube is the same. We do width times length times height. But the cube is all the lengths, like this, this, this edge, this edge, that edge, all the same, right? So we just do a cube. And that's how we get a cube. So does everybody understand? These are very easy formulas. Okay, yes. So next we're going to do triangular prisms and pyramids. So a triangular prism is base times height divided by 2 times the length or the height, okay? So in this case, let me explain what base times height divided by 2 is. Base times height divided by 2 looks oddly familiar, right? That's because it's the area of a triangle. And what we're doing here is the actual formula for a triangular prism is very complicated, right? But using this one is a bit simpler. Okay, so I'm gonna teach you this one. So what you want to do is you have to find the area of one of the triangles at the end of the triangular prism. So that's what the base times height divided by 2 is. And then we have to multiply that by the whole length or the whole height of, in this case, it's the height of the triangular prism. And then we get the volume of a triangular prism. Okay? So we have to find the triangle first and then multiply the area of the triangle by the length of the triangular prism. And then let's move on to the pyramid. Okay, so the pyramid is actually 1/3 of a cube or a rectangular prism. So hence we get length times width divided by 3. Okay? Or we can write it as this. Because a pyramid is 1/3 of a rectangular prism, we can write it as this or this. Okay? So, does everybody understand this formula? Okay. Yes. So, let's try using these formulas. Okay? Let's try using them in a example. So, let me draw something. A triangular prism like this, right? And I'm going to give you the dimensions of the triangle at one end, 3, and let's say this is 6. And then this would be, let's say, 10. Okay? So can you solve the volume of a triangular prism using these dimensions? Okay, so please put your answer in the chat. Okay? And also try using the formula that I gave you. It will be very helpful. So, any answers yet? Evelyn, can you label the length, width, and base? Okay, so the length, width, and base. So okay, so I think I understand what you're saying. So 10 right here would be the entire length of the triangular prism, right? So that is the length. And the height of the whole triangular prism would be 3. Okay? Would be 3. And the width, okay, would be 6. And does that help? Okay. So let's see the answers starting from right here. So Kiki said 180. Logan said 90. Eddie said 90. And Abel said 90. Okay. So 90 and 180. So those are the main answers, I think. Okay. So let me walk you through it. Remember, you have to find the area of the triangular prism first. So what is the base of the triangle. Well, that's 6, or the width of the triangle, 6. Let's substitute that into this formula. And then the height, we know, is 3. I label that 6 times 3 divided by 2. And that equals to 18 divided by 2, which is 9. And remember, we have to multiply the area of the triangle by the length of the triangular prism, right? So 9 times the length, which is 10, equals 90 units cubed. Okay? 90 units cubed. That is the volume. So does everybody understand? Eddie, what is the unit? This one, there is no unit. When there is no unit, then you just abbreviate as unit. Yes, there is no unit for you to put. Usually, there's probably inches or centimeters. Then you put centimeters cubed or something like that. Okay. So let's do another example. Pyramid is the length times width times height divided by 3, right? So let's do a pyramid example. So let's just use this picture as an example. Let me see, the square on the bottom would be 3 times 3, and the height, let's say the height is 4, okay? So that's good enough. So please find the volume of this pyramid using the formula I gave you. This would be the length. This would be the width. Okay, so we have some answers. 12. 12. A lot of 12s. And 12 is correct. Okay, so many people got it correct. Congratulations. Remember, we have to do 3 times 3 times 4, right? We substitute that in and then divide by 3. And we can cancel out these 3's because there's 2 of them. And you get 12, okay? And don't forget units cubed. So now, let's see, the cylinder and the cone, okay? So let's try these. The cylinder is very, very easy, if you ask me. And it is probably easy for you. Why? Because you already know how to find the area of a circle, and that's all you need to know. Because finding a cylinder, you have to find, like the triangular prism, you have to find the area of the shape on the base, right? And a cylinder, the base is circle shaped. So let's find the area of a circle. Okay, area of a circle. And then we just multiply by the height. Okay? So very, very easy. And the cone is even easier because you just need to know the just need to know the how to find the volume of a cylinder. And then you just divide by 3, right? Okay? So what you need to know is the area of the circle at the bottom, multiply by the height, then just divide by 3. And these formulas are connected and also with circles, okay? So if you know one formula, then you probably will get all the other formulas, okay? So now let's move on to the subtraction method. And some of you might have heard this before. Okay. So the subtraction method is used to find the area of an irregular shape using the area of the other shapes around it. So in the example, right, this one, we're asked to find the area of the shaded region. So let's say the shaded region right here. So these little corners, okay, around the circle, that is the shaded region. How do you find that? So using the subtraction method, you have to subtract the circle area from the square area, and you can solve the area of the shaded region because the square is bigger than the circle, and by subtracting the circle area from the larger square area, you can find the shaded region in between those shapes. Okay? So does everybody understand? Okay. So everybody understands? Let's move on to some practice. Okay? And Lucas, you asked, when does this class end? Okay, this class ends in roughly 20 minutes. Okay? 20 minutes this class will end. But don't leave yet because this is one of the most important parts. You have to practice our formulas with this one. And without practice, your skills will go away. Okay? You need to practice constantly so you stay in shape. So our first one is to find the area of this irregular shape. So this irregular shape. And for your knowledge, each of these half circles are exactly half of a circle. So yeah, all of these semicircles, exactly half of a circle. And the middle is a square, okay? Now, can you use the dimensions 4 and 4 that I gave you to find the area of this irregular shape? And also, when solving this problem, please simplify or round pi to 3.14 because we do not want a very large decimal. Okay. So round to 3.14 and find the area of this irregular shape. Okay? So put the answer in the chat when you are ready. Okay? So please solve this problem. I'll give you a few minutes. Okay. So Logan said 41.12 and Andy agrees. Abel also got 41.12. Andrew says 16 plus 2 pi r plus 2 pi r. Okay, so Andrew, please round pi to 3.14, okay? Thank you. And Kiki agrees with Abel, Andy, and Logan and says 41.12. Eddie says 66.24. So first disagreement here. And Lucas also says 66.24. And so I think there are two main answers here. So 41.12 and 66.24. Okay. So two answers. Does anybody have any answers or disagreement? Okay, just those few. Okay. Then I will solve it myself and reveal the answer. Okay. And let's see. Who's spamming so much stuff? Eddie? Okay, Eddie, please stop spamming. I know you're probably proud that you got the answer, but please don't spam. One or twice is okay, but like 40 times, not okay. Okay. So let me solve this problem. So the first one, let's take the obvious one first. Okay. So the square in the middle, 4 times 4, 16. So that is our area of the square, okay? Very obvious one, okay? Easiest one. And now, using 4 as a dimension, we need to find the area of the circles, the semicircles, okay? So we need to find the radius of this circle and then find the area of the whole circle. And then we have to divide by 2 because it's the half of a circle. It's a half circle, semicircle, okay? And we are given 4 as a dimension. But this is only the diameter of the circle. Don't forget we have to multiply the diameter by 1/2 or divide by 2 to get the radius. Okay, so 4 divided by 2 equals 2. The radius of the circle equals 2. Okay. And let's do our calculations over here. So now we can use a circle formula. Substitute the circle formula, pi r squared. You know the radius is 2, so 2 times pi times another 2 because it's r squared. And we get 4 pi. We're done with that. But remember I said please round pi to 3.14, okay? So what you need to do is you have to multiply 4 by 3.14. That equals 12.56. And we're not done yet because we have to divide by 2, right? This is a half circle. This is just the area of the whole circle. So let's divide by 2. And we get 12.56 divided by 2, 6.28. And then there's 4 semicircles, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's multiply 6.28 by 4. And what we get is, let's see, this, right? 6.28 times 4 equals 25.12. And we're not done yet. We have to add 25.12 to 16 because don't forget we still have that square in the center. And we have 16 plus 25.12. And that is 41.12. So whoever got 41.12, congratulations to you. And some people got 66.24, I think. Very good effort, okay? I think you forgot to divide the diameter into 2, right? So, but good effort from everyone. So, everyone, good job. Okay. So, Evelyn, go back to the definition. So, which definition, Evelyn? I'll go back for you if you need to take notes. So, I'll put in the chat which definition do you need to go to. What thing are you referring to? Okay, the right now thing. Okay, you mean the first problem? Okay. Is this the slide you want to go to, Evelyn? Okay, the definition. Oh, so the subtraction method. Okay, you can use this one. Okay. So while Evelyn is taking notes, we have 2 questions left. So 2 and 3. And we only did 1. Okay. So do you guys want to go over time? Are you willing to go just a tad over time to finish those questions? Because each of those questions are very important. Okay. Or do you just want me to leave it to you as homework? Okay. You can put it in the chat. Okay. Yes, I'll. So okay, so some people neither, and some people are right now, some people are homework. So how about I'll just do it right now, okay? I'll try to go faster. Try to go faster. So we don't go too much over time. So this is our second question, and let me read it out loud. What is the area of the shaded region? Okay, so right here, the shaded region. And also I'll give you a hint. Using the subtraction method, subtract these two triangles from the square, and you can get what is the area of the shaded region. Actually, let me put the dimensions here. This will be okay. Let this one be 1 by 1 unit cube. Okay, so let the square be 1 by 1. Okay, so those are the dimensions. Now, can you combine the formulas? Can you use both the formulas of a square and triangles in the subtraction method to find the area of the shaded region? So this is one of the harder ones. Okay, so don't worry if you don't know. This is one of the harder ones out of all the questions we're going to. So if you don't know, just please wait, and then I'll explain it to you, and then we can do it. So please put your answer in the chat. I'll leave this slide, and I'll give you a few 1 minute, okay? Okay, so let's see what the answers are. So 1/2, Andrew says 1/2, and Logan says 5/8 or 0.625. And Lucas, are you unsure what the hint? Okay, the hint is you have to subtract the triangles to get the area of the shaded region. Okay, that was the hint. And Eddie also agrees that 0.625 is the answer. Lucas says 0.625. And the list goes on and on. So most of the answers are 0.625. Okay. So let me walk you through it. So we have to subtract both of these triangles from the area of the square to get the shaded region, right? But what are the areas of these circles? Well, let me, erase this. Okay. So these are, as you can see, are the middle points of the this is the middle point, and that is the end, right? Okay, this is the end. This is the other point is the middle point, okay? And so this side will be 1/2, and that's very helpful because we know the base of this triangle now. The base of this triangle now. And what we need to do is we have to multiply the base of the big triangle by the height, which is 1, because I gave you that dimension. Now, 1/2 times 1, which is 1/2, but don't forget it's a triangle. Always have to divide by 2. So, and then you get 1/4, right? Get 1/4. So this is 1/4. And since this side is 1/2, well, this side is also 1/2. And we multiply the base by the height, right? But this is a middle point too. So this side also 1/2, right? Okay. And we multiply 1/2 by 1/2, and then overall we have to divide by 2, right? And this equals 1/8. And the square, the overall area of the square is 1 by 1, right? So that's 1. Minus 1/4 minus 1/8 equals 258, or 0.625. So a lot of you got that correct. So very nice. Yes, congratulations. Okay, I'll go back, Evelyn. Here is the slide. So you want to take notes, right? So let me clear this up. So this is the calculation for the large triangle. And this is the calculation for the small triangle. And the method we used here is the subtraction method. Okay. So for those who want to take notes on this, please go ahead. Okay. So since we're already 4 minutes over time, let's leave the last homework for homework, okay? Last question for homework. I think I said it incorrectly over there. So anyways, the last one is find the area of the shaded irregular shape. Okay, right here. Let me use a different color. Easier to see. Red. Yes. And this is the shaded part. Okay? So you guys, let's vote, okay? Who wants to leave this class now and want this for homework? Okay, so put it in the chat. Who wants this for homework? Okay. So some people do it now. Some people don't want homework now. Okay. So let's do it now. Also, let's Let's see. Any more votes? Yes. Okay, Eddie, you finished the 6th grade math and you're currently studying 7th grade too. Okay, that's good. Okay, good for you. And you're 11, right? Yeah, you're the same age as me. Okay, so good for you, Eddie. Okay, so let's do the last problem. Number 3 is find the area of the shaded irregular shape. So, now that you've done a few of these problems, please try and do it on your own, okay? So let me give you the dimensions. This will be 4, this will be 2. Okay, so using these dimensions, please solve the area. And in this case, pi, let's round it to 3.14. Okay, so please do this problem and put it in the chat. Okay. And thank you for your patience right here. We're already a bit over time. So thank you for your patience. But please do this problem and we'll end, okay? I give you a few moments. Okay, so 0.215 units cubed. Okay, so any more answers? 0.86. Okay, that's a lot of that. 6.28. And then so a few different answers. Okay, so let me go over it. Let's see. So let's find we're using the subtraction method to find the area of this, right? Okay, so let's find the area of the whole rectangle first. So do 4 times 2 equals 8, okay? And then let's find the area of the 2 circles, okay? And how do we do that, okay? How do we find the area of the 2 circles? Well, you must notice that 4 can, this line that is, this line over here, that's 4 units, can be moved down to here, okay? So this line over here is also 4. And we have found the 2 diameters of these 2 circles because we divide 4 by 2 because there are 2 circles, and we get 2 because 4 divided by 2 is 2. And then we find the diameter, right? But we need the radius. And then we divide 2 again. And then we get 1. So the radius of each of these circles is 1. So radius equals 1. Okay? And then let's fit it into the formula. And then we get 1 pi, or just pi. Okay? Remember, we have to round pi to 3.14. So it just equals 3.14. Okay? And then, so each of these circles equals 3.14. And we subtract that from 8. Remember, there are 2 circles, so we have to subtract it twice. 8 minus 3.14 minus another 3.14 equals, let me see. And it equals 1.72. Okay, so equals 1.72, but we're not done yet. If we just subtract the 2 circles from the whole rectangle, we get this whole shaded region over here, right? We don't want that. We just want that one little corner. And you must realize that this whole shaded region is actually made of all these little corners that we have to find the area of one of those little corners. And if you count, there are 8 little corners. So we have to divide 1.72 by 8. And let's see. That equals 0.215. Okay, so that is the area of this irregular shape, okay, the shaded region. So some people got this correct. Very, very nice, very nice. So now you are free to go. So thank you for listening. So thank you for listening, and there will be a review class next time. So if you enjoyed this class, then you will be able to join another class. Okay, so that one, next one will probably be on probability and statistics. Okay, so bye everyone. Thank you for listening. Yes, thank you very much. Bye. There isn't any homework, so good for you.